Right, so I thought I'd just run through what I've got to do the actual airbrushing. So I've got a compressor. Um, this is overkill. You don't need something like this to be able to do uh, your airbrushing. I just needed a larger one that was silent because I live in an apartment block, so it'd be no good having like a huge one, and I just couldn't see the point in buying the little one as well because I needed this to be able to like clean in the cars and stuff. So that's why I ended up with that. Then you just have like a regulator that you use to control the flow of air. And then I've got two brushes. So this one's for like fine detail. So it has like quite a fine needle on it for like all your fading and lines and stuff like that. But this doesn't work at the moment. It's been broken for like a year. So I'm just having to make do without it because I just always forget to get it booked in and get it sorted out. And then this one is for like much larger areas. So when I'm doing like an 1/8 on road body shell, I use this one to do like the large coloured areas on the body shell. So yeah, I'm just having to make do with just that one at the moment. Then we've got a knife that I'll need to use to do the pulling off of the mask on the body shell. Paper towels just always come in handy whilst you're painting. These are the paints that I'm going to be using to do this shell. Breathing mask, just always wear it. Don't particularly know whether you need to with water-based paints or not, but I just always do. Some water, because you just need it to clean out the airbrushes. And then just got this like pot here that I've got like full of brushes and stuff that I use just to clean the this is all just for cleaning the airbrush. And then also you get like these chucks here, so this helps take the nozzle off the end of the airbrush if it gets really blocked, so that you can clean it out, which my airbrush often does because my paints are all just so old and crap. And then this mug, I used to have like a proper reservoir for putting used paint into, like excess that you got left in the airbrush, and I smashed that. So now I just use this mug that a friend of mine kindly gave to me, and that's it. That's all we should need. So just going to film the first bit of painting now. A bit that I did forget to say was the first paint that I'm going to do, the order I'm going to do it in is I'm going to do it silver, black, blue, fluorescent red, and then white. That's the order that I'm going to do it in. And these silvers, these satin colours, are just an absolute nightmare. I don't know why, maybe someone can tell me. But when you paint this colour and then you paint any colour on top of it, it doesn't adhere to it. So then when you come to picking your mask off that runs along the edge of this, it will look like you're starting to pull the paint off the whole of the body shell, and you'll start panicking because silver kind of looks see-through and you're like, oh my god. But it's not, it's actually just the top layer of paint that was sat on top of this, and it just makes it look real messy. It's just an absolute nightmare. So if anybody knows how to combat that or stop that from happening, other than painting it last, I'd really like to know. Right, so let's get painting these pinstripes. I suppose that a tip here is when you're removing this tape, if there's a point in the masking, so here there's like a point on these, you're best to undo the mask towards the point, and then it normally works out okay, because like here, when I was undoing it, I went that and then I went that way, just because even though I know I would have been better picking off here, it's because I've got a run going and I thought, oh, I'll keep on going. But yeah, you're always best pulling off towards the point, it just always works out better then. The other thing that I forgot to say is I normally have a hairdryer. I don't use it to dry the shell as such. I just use it, so like here I wanted to get this silver done, so just to take the tackiness off it, I just give it a quick blast with the hairdryer in between the two coats that I'm going to do. Right, so that's literally it for the silver. It's just going to have those two coats that I put on. I'm never too passionate about getting too heavy with the paint when it's silver, because it's going to get backed with the black, and that tends to just make it a nice deep shiny colour on the shell anyway. So what I'm going to do, because I'm in no particular rush to get this shell finished, is it's just going to go in my airing cupboard now, and I'm just going to leave it to dry for an hour, and then I'll come back and do the black pinstriped, then probably leave that for an hour, and then I'll just do the window pinstriped, and that'll probably be it for today. So I'm just going to clean out this silver, so there's just a little residue left in the bottom of the brush. So I just spray in a bit of water like that, and then I get my paper towel and I pop it over the end of my airbrush like that. So I've got my finger on the back of it, pop it on the end, just press it and just let some bubbles create in the cut. And probably do this about 3 times. Then that will be so then you unscrew the back of the airbrush here, just undo that nut there, and you can pull the needle out. I just, in between colours, I don't go mad, just do the spraying in the cap, clean the needle out, and then I'll just blow in there, and then just give it a bit of a clean. That'll do for in between paints. Clean the brush, should be enough. Build that back up. And then just pop some air through it. So, and just leave that ready for the next one. Next bit to do is the back. So, just going to take off the pinstripes for the back. Right, so that's the black done on the shell. Pop it back in the airing cupboard for a bit, and then I'll come and do the windows. I forgot to put that paint at the start. Just do the windows in a fluorescent yellow. Next bits, window frames now, they're going to be yellow. On this shell here, you might have noticed that I used the window mask for the windows here. To be honest, I always regret doing it every time I do it. I don't know why I keep doing it. It just makes it more like hard work. You're better off just using the mask and then just drawing it all out, because I'll end up with these little bits of white around the edge from where I've not quite got the paper out right. Just best off not doing it. This will take a few more coats than the silver and black because of it being fluorescent. Right, the last bit that I'm going to do today on this shell is I'm going to put the white over the fluorescent yellow that I put around the window, and then I shall leave these elements that I've done today to dry overnight in the airing cupboard, and then first thing in the morning I'm going to pop the blue onto the body shell, and then tomorrow evening I'll do the red and the white, and that's it, we'll be done. So let's get this white on. Right, so that's going to be it on that fluorescent yellow that we've got around there. Done everything on the silver, done everything on the black. So I'm just going to let that dry for about half an hour, and then all I'm going to do before I go to bed tonight is I'm just going to take the bits off that are going to be blue, because literally as soon as I get up in the morning, the first thing I'm going to do is put the blue on this shell, so that it's just ready to go. So I'm just going to remove the mask for the bits that are going to be blue. I think I've got all of the bits that are going to be blue now tomorrow on the shell off. It's just dead tricky when you're doing those bits, just to know that the bit that you're taking off is the right one. You can like label it on here, but sometimes you get really small intricate bits like that bit there and that bit there, so it just gets a bit complicated. So slow and steady definitely wins the race with these things, because there's nothing worse than putting a colour on, getting all the colours on, and then just seeing all these shitty little mask bits left, and you're just like, oh. So there we go, that's it till the morning now. The first colour that we're going to do today is the blue, and to be honest it's probably going to be the only colour that I'm going to do today. I'll do about 4 coats of this fluorescent blue, backed with 1 coat of like this sky blue, just a slightly opaque colour to back it, just to block the colour off. And then tomorrow I'll probably do the fluorescent then. So let's get some. Right, so here is an example of when there's some sort of blockage in the airbrush because the paint isn't flowing as it should do. And I could just turn the pressure up on the compressor and try and force the paint out that way, but I've just learned that doesn't work. You're best off just stopping it and cleaning it. It's probably because it's been left overnight and I didn't give it a proper clean before I went to bed. So it's probably just from using the white, because this white's just an absolute nightmare. It's probably just that's caused it. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean now. I don't know exactly the science behind it, but the nozzle protrudes ever so slightly outside the nozzle. When I say the nozzle, it's this little tiny bit here, protrudes ever so slightly out of this cup. But sometimes you get like a build-up of paint over the end here, which kind of makes that hole smaller. And when that happens, that seems to really be problematic for the airflow in the airbrush. So this is quite often an area of concern. I think we can definitely tell I'm not a child of the 21st century. I get every last bit out of this paper towel that I'm using. Right, and that should be enough. I think that should get everything working now. Yeah, so that's sort of the problem. Everything was flowing fine again then, and I put one more coat on than I planned to do then. But I'm literally just going to pop this back in my airing cupboard now for probably 2 hours. No, mate, I'll probably do an hour, then do another coat, then do an hour, do another coat, and then that'll probably be it for the blue. No particular rush today. But it's looking good. Right, we're going to do the last bits on the blue today, which is I'm going to put. So this has had 4 coats of blue, fluorescent blue on the car now. This one, fluorescent blue. It's really unfortunate that fluorescent colours are the most popular on RC body shells because, to be honest, I really haven't got a clue with them because they don't look right. At the point in time where I am now, the paint doesn't look right. It's only once it gets backed with another colour that you actually can tell whether you got it right or not. Here, like with the yellow, because they look quite transparent at this point. So it's really difficult. So it's always guesswork, and I see other body shells on the track, and like some of the fluorescent colours I see out there, they're like really pop, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I wish I could get my fluorescent colours to do that, but I don't seem able to. And also I see people back it with all sorts of different things like silver. There's a guy that I follow online and he backs his colours with like a primer colour. Well, if I try and use anything other than white on my fluorescent colours, they always end up dead dull. So I don't know. So this is how I do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 coats of white on, leave that to dry for an hour in the airing cupboard, and then I'm going to put 1 coat of this sky blue on. And all that I'm trying to do by putting that on the back is I'm just trying to protect the colour, But the only other colour really that's going to go on the body shell is this fluorescent colour, and fluorescent colours tend to be quite good. They don't tend to creep over into the other one so much. So like if I put red on top of this blue, it won't suddenly turn red. Whereas if like I used a less opaque colour and a more solid red, if I sprayed it on top of that blue, even after I've backed it with these two, you still can get some sort of dulling effect and a bit of the red creeping through, but it should be fine. I've not really got any concerns with what I'm about to do. So the only reason why I put this colour on the back of the white is just protection really, just to try and stop the seepage from all the colours that I'm going to paint on. So let's get this white on. You can see in this body shell now that I've just sprayed the reason why this white's so troublesome to me. I'll see if I can get some pictures. You can see all those blots. Yeah, so hopefully from those pictures you can see those blots that have come out, and that's just dried up old white paint. But I'm too much of a Scrooge just to throw it away. I'll just keep using it until it's done. Right, that's the white on the back of the blue done. Everything looks fine so far. So I think the 4 coats have worked out fine. The other thing that I wanted to show you is the pressure. So at the moment that's what I've got mine running at to spray that white. It was actually on less than that when I was doing. Yeah, so all I do when I'm on that regulator is I just see how the paint is flowing, and the other way that I kind of, so it just becomes like a feel, and normally I'm just like turning it like half a turn in between paints. So like with the fluorescents require less airflow, with the thicker paints it will require more airflow, and I'm just lazy. I don't bother watering my paints down. I just use them as they come out of the pots. So yeah, I just measure it on like how the paint is flowing onto the body shell, and also like how much of the paint that I'm using. So if like I've like done like 2 strokes over the shell and the paint's all disappeared, then I know I've got way too much airflow on there. You'll also see it like start to run and stuff on the shell if you've got too much flowing through. So yeah, so we're just going to, after I've finished with this, we're just going to put this one on, and then that's all the blue done, and then we'll just get ready for doing the red tomorrow. Okay. Right, so I dried that bit off pretty quick with the hairdryer, just mainly because I want to get this red bit taken off now before I put it back in the airing cupboard. Yeah, so that's it. So the next bit that we'll be doing is the red on the body shell, and then just white. So I'm going to do that tomorrow because I'm off out tonight. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. The red on the shell, I'll just leave it drying in the airing cupboard until then. Cheers. Just got back from racing, and I'm just going to put a couple of coats of this red on before I go to bed, and then I'll put a couple of coats on in the morning and then finish it off tomorrow night with the white. So I'm just going to get some red on now. Alright, so 2 coats there. I'm going to go pop this in the air and cover it out of the way. Might give it one more coat before I go to bed, I don't really know yet. But yeah, getting there. Think it'll be alright. Hope so. So we're at the final colour now, which is going to be white. So I'm just going to, last night I managed to get 2 more coats on of the red, so you saw me put 2 coats on. I put another 2 coats on with like probably an hour in between the coats, allowing it to dry. So now we're going to do the white, and this will probably be about 3 coats, I would imagine, and that will be it. So. So I thought whilst I was out for a walk in my favourite place in Nottingham, I'd do like a finish to the video for airbrushing. And so the things that I would suggest just for the people that are starting up is you can buy any liquid mask, it doesn't matter which one you buy. They will all work. It's just got really busy on this bridge. They'll all work, and I'd just recommend, I'll take a picture of the blades that I use, and I shall pop it into the video now, so you'll see which ones I'm using. I don't know whether they're the right ones to use or not, but they just seem to do the job. And you can, if you look about, you can get loads of them like dirt cheap. And like I said before, you want to be using one of them per body shell that you do. And then the other thing that I would really suggest is that if you're going to spend some money getting the airbrushing equipment, so like a brush and a little compressor to be able to do it, or you can use your big compressors, anything will work. Just buy the small bottles of paint. That's the mistake that I made. I bought because I was going to do loads, I bought like the paint in large volumes because it was cheaper. But it's false economy because it just dries out so quick because you open it, and then once you've opened it, they've probably got like a 6-month lifespan or something on them. They're just no good really. Like you saw all the trouble that I was having like with the white. It's just a nightmare. But that one is really old. So just buy little bottles and just buy them regular. And I think you'll find that will work really well. You can use techniques like getting a pair of ties and putting them over the bottle, so that it filters the paint as it goes into the thing, but the fact of the matter is you just won't end up doing that. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope it's helpful, and I hope to see more one coloured shells out on the track, and shall see you all soon.